So in order to make the pumpkin, the first thing you want to do is make a whole bunch of chains of yarn. So I used this yarn. It's a thick, soft yarn. I got 32 yards, and to make the whole pumpkin, I only used about half of it. So you use your pointer finger and your middle finger. You put it between your hands and you go around twice, like that. And then what you do is you just take the lower and pull this. Keep this in between your fingers until you get 2 chains. So you do that again, and then you pull like so. After you have 2, then just put that tail behind you. And then the best thing to do is just kind of move your fingers back and forth, and that will tighten it up between each time. So each time you're just adding 1 loop to each finger, and then you're pulling and pulling. And once you get going, you can really kick out a lot of chains pretty quickly. So I did this in like 1 evening. So again, you just loop around and then take the lower one to the upper one, and then just have your chain sitting here so you can just line them up, and then that way you'll know how long you want each one. And all I did was just measured around my pumpkin from top to bottom to just judge how long I needed the chain to be. And so, like I said, for each section, I weaved 6 chains, so that gives you an idea how many you need for each one. So when you get to the size that you need, you're basically just going to cut this off. You don't need it too big. And you have 2 loops. So you're going to stick it through the first loop, and you're going to pull it until it looks like that. So you want to pull that loop tight, and then you're going to stick it through the second loop and pull that tight, and then that ties it off at both ends. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is put a glue dot at the top, and right where this ends, you stick the yarn down, and then run a strip of glue down and put the yarn down over the strip. And you're going to do this all the way around, and then once you get all the way around, you'll fill in the center sections. Okay, so as I said, you put 1 around first, around each where the crack is, and then you're going to fill in. So I'm going to show you now how to fill in one section. So you take the top and you just put a dab of hot glue at the top, and then you secure it up as close to the top as you can. Let that dry for a second, and then just flip it up and take a line of glue down your pumpkin to the bottom, and then don't push it too tight, and just kind of push it down against the pumpkin. Then you're going to take another one, and mine took about 6 for each section, so that'll give you an idea about how many to make. Again, repeat it, and I leave this, see how the string's on here? Just leave that on there, and then you can trim them off after you put a couple on. And then I do the opposite side. Put a line of glue down to the bottom, and just let the bottom hang. Once it's glued down, then we'll take care of the bottom. So then what I did was, after those were glued, I just trimmed off the string because they're hot glued down. That's not gonna unfray. and then take another one right in the middle. Again, flip it up and put your line of glue down. And push it down. And see how it bumps out, gives you the shape of the pumpkin. So that's why you're building to the center, because your center one will be the thickest point. And then you take one more and put that down the center. So at the bottom, you'll see I do a couple sections and then I glued it down and trimmed off the strings again. So these were my last two sections. So basically you just turn the pumpkin upside down and just take and glue the base and glue it across. Now this one was a little bit too long. So what I do is I unweave it a little bit and then tie it off again. And then that way it won't be too long for the base. But you just basically want to glue them all down. And then after you glue it down, you want to trim off the end. And just do that with all of them. So there you have a what looks like a knitted pumpkin. We have our yarn pumpkin completely done. We've glued the bottom. I really like how this came out. It looks like it was knitted when it actually didn't. But I like to always put some final touches on it, so I just wanted to show you how I finished it off. First thing I did was took 2 pieces of felt, cut it into a leaf shape, and then I just took some glitter glue and just traced the outline of the leaf. And then on the back I just pleated it and glued it so that it kind of gives it a little bit of a cup shape. I took a couple pipe cleaners and I just wrapped them around a pencil to get the curlies. And then I always have scrap ribbons, so I just picked 4 colors or 3 colors, 4 ribbons, an orange and a wide, and then I did a gold, and then I did 2 strips of green. And basically all I did was just tied it into a knot and trimmed it so that the ends were even. So we're going to put these onto our pumpkin as our final touches. So the first thing I want to do is glue the curls onto it. So you just put a dab of glue and just secure one. Let it hold. And glue the other. I think I'm just going to use 2. I made 3, but I think I like 2. And then you glue the leaves right down next to it. And then I'm just going to put a dab of glue on the back of the knot. And put that right on top. And mine's a wire ribbon, so you can kind of shape it a little bit. And then there you have the finished product of your pumpkin.